going on, everybody? It's Richard Koberger here, the Blue Collar Nerd, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you tips on increasing your new equipment sales in HVAC. So my first tip is to do everything in your power to avoid one-leggers. One-leggers are those jobs where you have multiple decision makers, but you show up and only one of those decision makers are there to meet with you. Usually this is like a spouse situation, so you have two spouses who need to communicate to decide which company they're going to go with and which equipment they're going to go with and all of that, but they don't both want to take off of work, so only one of them shows up to meet with you. And this is absolutely detrimental to the sales process because everything that you do at that presentation, everything that you go over, your presentation about your company, your presentation about the equipment and what you're recommending, all of the magic that you present, it all kind of goes out the window because now it's up to the spouse to actually convey all of that to the other decision maker. And I guarantee you they're not going to do as good of a job conveying all the value that you bring to the table as you are, and so it's going to start coming down to price.
The magician.
I thought you were going to do like a trick there, like with a fireball or something.
I was, it didn't go off. God, these things never go off when you want them to. The least consistent trick.
So how do we avoid one-leggers? Well, it all starts with the script that the CSR has back at the office. So as part of the script that either the CSR or the dispatcher has before booking this call, they should be asking questions to kind of investigate, are there multiple decision makers that need to be involved here? Now, one method is just to straight up ask, are there multiple decision makers? But the problem with that is sometimes you'll get a dishonest answer. Another way to go about it is to ask, are you the sole owner of the property? And if they say no, then ask who that other owner is and then try to find a time that works for both of them. And if you even want to take it a step further, another method that I've seen performed is to have a consultation fee that is actually waived when all of the decision makers are present at the consultation. And you can justify this by saying that when only one decision maker is there out of multiple, it makes more work for your company and your consultant. Which is true. That can sometimes mean multiple phone calls for your consultant to follow up and go back over the same stuff with the other decision maker. And sometimes it can even involve multiple trips for the consultant to go back out there. And so for avoiding all of that, we will waive the consultation fee when all of the decision makers are present. My next tip is don't always use SEER rating to increase your packages. So I see this a lot where in order to create a good, better, best, or like a bronze, silver, gold, platinum, or however it is that you set up your packages, it's basically just a 14 SEER, a 16 SEER, an 18 SEER, a 20 SEER. And look, that is one way to do it, but it shouldn't be the only way that you ever build out packages. You should be asking the client good questions and getting to the bottom of what their priorities are. And if high efficiency isn't at the top of their priority list, but maybe they have allergies and they have indoor air quality concerns, or they have certain rooms in the house that aren't cooled or heated as well as other rooms, well then it probably doesn't make as much sense to make your top option your top SEER option. That's not their priority, they're probably not going to go for it. Instead, maybe you could offer two 14 SEER options and two 16 SEER options, but increase the amount of ductwork enhancements and the amount of indoor air quality enhancements that come with those packages. That way, one, you're going to be truly addressing their concerns and standing out from your competition. Two, you're still giving them packages, giving them options, and giving the company better opportunities to have them pick the higher option. And three, things like ductwork and indoor air quality products, well, they tend to be higher margin anyway, so everybody wins. The client wins and the company wins. Now, I'm not saying you should never offer higher SEER equipment. I'm just saying it shouldn't be the only tool in your toolbox when it comes to building packages. My next tip, offer financing. I'm probably not the first person to tell you that, and I probably won't be the last, but it is super important. A 2018 study conducted by the Federal Reserve on the financial well-being of US households shows that about 40% of Americans could not cover a $400 expense if one came up. So if your customer wasn't expecting to have to replace their HVAC unit and all of your packages are $4,000, $5,000, $10,000, chances are they're not going to be able to cover that with cash. And hey, even if they do have the cash on hand to cover that, sometimes financing just makes more sense. For example, maybe somebody who's more savvy with their money and does have, say, $10,000 cash on hand to spend on HVAC upgrades, they might still want to see some financing options and see that interest rate so that they can compare to, okay, what could I get if I took my $10,000 and instead of spending it all at once, took that and invested it into these stocks or into real estate or other investments like that. And if they conclude that they'd make more on their money by investing it than the loan would cost them in interest, they might still decide they'd rather go with financing. So if you don't offer financing and the other guys do, you're at a major disadvantage. And finally, my last tip today is to follow up. And I don't just mean follow up with people who haven't made a decision and haven't bought from you yet, although you should certainly be doing that, but you should also follow up with people who did buy from you. If you're a comfort consultant, a salesperson, and when somebody signs on the dotted line, that's the last time they ever hear from you, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Because the message you're sending to that client is that you were just there to sell them something. Instead, you should figure out when their install is going in and call them the day after to make sure everything went well and that they're satisfied. Yes, the office could do this, but they just spent a lot of money and they didn't spend it with that person in the office. They don't know who that person is. They haven't seen their face. They bought it from you. So give them a call, see how things went, and make sure they're satisfied. I guarantee your referral rates will go up for doing that. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Hey, if you want to see even more tips, check out this great blog post from ServiceTitan. I'll put a link in the description down below. Be sure to hit like if you liked this video, got some value out of it. And of course, be sure to subscribe to ServiceTitan's YouTube channel if you've not done that already. Appreciate it. Peace.